everyone, if you're watching this video, you're probably asked yourself at some point, why is reading in English so important? Maybe you're just starting to learn English or you've been learning for a while and want to improve. Whatever your case is, you're in the right place because today we're going to dive deep into why reading in English can make a huge difference in your language learning journey. Trust me, by the end of this video, you will want to pick up an English book right away. So let's get started. Why reading in English is important. First of all, why is reading in English important? Does it really make a difference compared to just listening to people speak or watching videos? The answer is a big yes. Let me explain why. When you read in English, you're not only learning new words and phrases, but you're also seeing how these words fit together in real life context. You see the language in action. It's like having a front row seat to how native speakers actually think, write, and communicate. This is super important because learning English isn't just about memorizing individual words. It's about understanding how those words work together, how sentences are built, and how ideas flow. Think of reading as a window into the language. Imagine you're building a house. If you only focus on learning vocabulary, it's like collecting a bunch of bricks. Sure, you need bricks to build a house, but if you don't know how to put them together, you won't get very far, right? Well, reading is like having a blueprint for that house. It shows you to take those bricks or words and turn them into something meaningful, like a conversation, a story, or even an email. How reading improves your vocabulary. One of the biggest benefits of reading in English is how much it improves your vocabulary. When you read, you come across new words all the time, and you get to see them used in different situations. This is much more helpful than just looking at a list of words and their meanings. Why? Because when you read, you get to see how the words are used, not just what they mean. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're reading a sentence like, "The weather was dreadful, so they decided to stay indoors." Maybe you don't know the word dreadful, but from the rest of the sentence, you can probably guess that it means something negative because they decided to stay inside. And guess what? Now you learn a new word. You didn't just memorize it, you understood it in a real situations. Reading also exposes you to collocations, which are words that are commonly used together. For example, in English, we say make a decision instead of do a decision. These little details can be hard to remember if you're just studying a textbook. But when you read, you see these words combinations naturally and get used to how they're supposed to sound. Over time, this will help you sound more like a native speaker. Busting your pronunciation. Okay, here's a fun tip. Do you know that reading in English can also help you with your pronunciation? I know that might sound strange because reading is usually a silent activity, but if you practice reading out loud, you'll be training your mouth to pronounce English sounds correctly. It's like a workout for your mouth. When you read out loud, you're practicing the rhythm and flow of English. You're also giving yourself time to focus on the way words are supposed to sound. And the best part, you don't need anyone else to practice with you. You can do this by yourself. Start with something simple, like a short story or even a children's book. The more you practice reading out loud, the more confident you'll become speaking English. Plus, when you read out loud, you can hear yourself and start to notice if certain words are tricky to pronounce. This gives you the chance to practice them until you get them right. Over time, this will help you develop a more natural accent and improve your speaking skills in general. Understanding grammar naturally. Now let's talk about grammar. I know. Grammar can be a bit of a headache sometimes. It's full of rules, exceptions, and things that don't always make sense at first. But guess what? When you're reading English, you're learning grammar without even realizing it. Let's take a simple sentence. She has been working here for 2 years. If you read sentences like this over and over in books, articles, stories, you start to get a feel for how English grammar works, especially tricky tenses like the present perfect continuous. You might not even notice that you're learning grammar, but your brain is taking it all in. This is called implicit learning, learning without actively thinking about it. When you read, you see how native speakers use the language correctly. Over time, this helps you understand how to use things like verbs, tenses, prepositions, and sentence structure without having to memorize a bunch of complicated rules. It's like learning by osmosis, just observing the language naturally.